Call the meeting to order. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Persick.
Here.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Here.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Here.
Alderman Evans.
Here.
Alderman Kerwin.
Here.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Here.
Alderman Tudor. Here. Alderman Studer.
Here.
All present, you have a quorum.
Thank you. I declare the regular meeting of the Wilmington City Council on September 16th, 2014 is now in session. Council, you have approval of the minutes for September 2nd before you.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from September 2nd and have them placed on file.
Motion by Alderman Studer, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Studer. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
8 yes, motion passes.
Thank you. All right, a few items on the mayor's report, real quick. Remind everybody, city stickers, I know we talked about earlier, city stickers are on sale up until the end of this month. After that, prices double, so if you haven't got your city sticker, get in and get it. I'd also like to make announcements for the Wilmington Coalition and the Braidwood Coalition is going to have a free disc golf tourney Sunday, September 28th. And also on October 19th, they got the Ryan's Run, which is a 5K suicide prevention run on October 19th, which I believe is the day after the Spook Night, correct? Which is October 18th, so we got a lot of that stuff going on. Now what I could do is, there's a gentleman that came to a point that I think we all long for when we were in the working world, and that come to the time when we can retire. I think we all look forward to that day. This guy started many years ago working for the city. I don't exactly know, it was probably 28, 30 years ago. But it's now come to him to retire, and it looks like he's going to be raising grandkids, or at least spending a lot more time with grandkids. So at this time, what I'd like to do is bring up Darren Plotz up for retirement play. All right. This is presented to Chief Darren Plotz. Thank you for your commitment and dedication to the city of Wilmington and all the years of service you provided. Chief.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Dan.
You already have the wallet. Go ahead and shake your hands, and I'll give this stuff to you.
There you go, before we did it.
But you got your badges in here, your retired applications, and also your badge, another one on your wallet that says you're retired.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I got one question first. Does the wife have the honeydew list started?
I've already started.
Thanks, Darren.
Lucky man.
October about a month now.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I believe it just missed the previews for Dolphin Tales too, if you
All right, moving on. Citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments tonight? Yes, sir.
Just an update on the coalition events. Last week, we welcomed Chief Arnold as our newest member. We're happy to have him on board. And I gave all of you these ribbons. This is the color for suicide prevention. And we're doing the Ryan's Run for a lady here in Wilmington. She asked the coalition to sponsor it. She has lost 5 family members to suicide. And the most recent one was Ryan, her 17-year-old nephew, who took his life a month after he lost his grandfather. And I would like to invite all of you to our next meeting, which will be here in Chambers on Monday, October 13th at 6:30 p.m. It'll be the anniversary of the coalition awards and a potluck dinner. And I've asked the Chicago White Sox to cook a special dish for Tony. It's called Wait Till Next Year.
Don't turn around, Tony. Don't turn. Don't turn.
Oh,
I will say this, the White Sox do have sometimes a little better food.
I know it's a better record, just a little.
I wouldn't say nothing there yet.
Yeah. I think that one will.
As I said, just a little.
Mayor, we're gonna go back and visit
Yeah,
something on
is this
Mayor's
gentleman
report.
Oh, yeah, you're right, sorry about that. We'll finish up. Any more citizens' comments? All right, before we go any further, what we'd like to do is bring, know the gentleman's name from Municipal Collection of America. He's here to kind of explain his services and what they plan to bring to the city in regards to collection.
Well, thanks for having me up to speak with you. It's kind of interesting, I've been to Wilmington before, but I wanted to print something out on MapQuest, so I ran into MapQuest and went to the map and it took me down below Jacksonville, about 10 miles south of 72. I said, did I spell it wrong? Put it back in again. Wilmington popped right there. So MapQuest has Wilmington 8 miles south of Jacksonville.
Yeah, there's
So you
two.
put in, yeah, there's two. Now, if we do it, it's village maybe?
I think so.
City versus village?
I don't.
It's gotta be-
We'll change our name.
But I knew where I was going. I want to give you a handout here, just so you remember what I talked about a little bit. You talked about a lot of things, and I remember about 25% of it.
You're doing better than me.
You get yours, doesn't it? We were asked to come down, Tony and Jim, Phil, to just talk about collecting some city debts. Every city and village has them, just a matter of how many and what they want to do about it. Due diligence is something you ought to do. Anybody that owes you money, you ought to make an effort to bring it in. It's kind of a known obligation. You don't have that much compared to a lot of the folks we work with. Our two largest clients are Aurora and Elgin, so it's huge amounts of debt, and a lot of it is fines. Most of it is fines, in fact. So we work on thousands of parking tickets, red light camera, speeding tickets, building code violations, local ordinance violations, all that kind of stuff. Some water billing, not a lot. Bunch of ambulance billing, those that do their own ambulance calls. So we pretty much work with them on any kind of debt they have since 1992. So we're out of Lansing. MapQuest said it'd take an hour and 15 minutes to get here, and it took me 1 hour. So it's pretty close. Family-owned business. Actually, I started it. My wife and son, in 2010, bought it from me. So I'm working for them now. We'll play a little more golf, so it's really happening. So the business has been there since '92, and we specialized in municipalities in more recent years because we just like it better. I never liked collecting medical bills. Most agencies collect medical bills. I never liked that side of the business, so I never did it. Just because when I got sick, somebody had to pursue a bill, and I said, I'd rather pursue a fine person than a medical bill person. So we lean more into the municipal, and now we only do municipal. So when we get municipal debt in, right now we're working with 38 villages and cities. We've got 5 in Iowa, 1 in Michigan, 1 in Maryland, 1 in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and 1 in Oklahoma. So we got a spread of people, small to large. And we do a pretty good job of it. We've got a good professional staff of 20, what they have. We've added 2 people, I think, since this, 26. So we grow slowly, and we add people in the mix to make sure we can handle what we're dealing with. Our success is based on calling people. If you can't reach them by a phone, you're probably not going to collect from them. Letters don't work. So we end up, today's world, 60% of the calling is to a cell phone. And cell phone is all, we can't call a cell phone with an automated dialer. So we can use an automated dialer on all landlines, and we can crank out 15,000 calls a day. Try to talk to somebody. So you gotta manually dial every one. Takes longer. There's more of them now, so it's more of an effort to get in. But people mostly respond to cell phone calls. I look at it, and a lot of times they go ahead and answer and talk to you. So it's not necessarily a negative, just takes more work on our part to reach a lot of people. So we have to keep up with the staff count to match what we know is flowing into us to work. Our services involve credit reporting, so everything that we bring in, we give people an opportunity for the first 45 days to pay, set up a payment plan before we ever report it to a bureau. Because once you put it on there, it's every 7 years, and it's a negative. Anybody that's experienced that knows as soon as you add on a debt to the bureau, you drop your score a bunch of points. And those points affect any kind of big loan that you want to get, mortgage or whatever it may be, car loan. Up by us, there's, mostly parking tickets. One parking ticket at $250 can affect a credit report by 50 points. That's huge. Look at a mortgage. So it's something we make sure we give them opportunity to deal with us before we ever even put it out there as a debt for several years. Skip tracing is something we have to do heavy because we're heavy into parking tickets. So parking tickets are coming from the Secretary of State based on a license plate, name and address. You never get a phone. So you start with a name and address, and then you gotta go out and find those phones, and then start dialing those phones to see if you got the right party. There's big databases out there that we use. We pay handsome amount of money to have them give us the best 3 phones. We've got 3 companies. We're the one first. They give us the best 3 you got. We road test those 3. See if we get a hit on the first 4 round. If we do, we lucked out. Didn't we try the others so we can get somebody to talk to us. So we go through a lot of skip tracing, and the addresses are, with the state registration files, about 35% wrong all the time. Because people move, and they don't tell the Secretary of State the new address. You don't have to register the car but every 4 years, so there's a lot of error in that address file. But we use a service for that too. When we send our letters through, that bump it against the national address file. Everybody that has me read the postal system and then gives us back the correct one and forwards our letter on. So that part ends up working pretty good. But there's still a bunch of people we never find in the scheme of things. One of the things we do different than all other agencies in Illinois at least, is we do driver's license suspension tracking for our bigger clients. It's not something Phil will end up doing here. Now you have one thing on how many e-tickets are issued and don't get paid, or compliance tickets that don't get paid. It takes 10 in Illinois. It takes 10 of those unpaid before you lose your driver's privilege. So that may not happen here, but it's something that happens a lot when you get into our bigger clients. We track bankruptcies for our clients. If anybody files, you have to stop pursuing them until the court has ruled on their case. So we have to know that that filing has taken place. We can't be calling them, we can't be sending letters, we can't be pursuing them at all until the court takes action. As soon as they take an action of dismissal or discharge, though, we're ready to start working the accounting in. We have to keep track of it in that fashion. The dismissals, discharges can only, like parking tickets, for example, fine. Discharges, even on a Chapter 7, where somebody writes off all their debts, they cannot include a municipal fine on that bankruptcy. But if they do, it doesn't matter because Congress can't have it by federal law. So we just have to wait till the bankruptcy is over, the discharge is made, and then we can still pursue that fine, really not part of the discharge. So there's a lot to follow there. The piece that we talked about with Tony and Kim more was the statute that allows municipalities in the state to add on our fee to the person that hasn't paid the debt. Instead of paying us our typical 35% fee, that is added on to the debt, and when we collect it, the village or city gets 100% back. That's been in place since '09. It was a good statute. And it was one of those things that came out of Springfield, it was a one-page law. You don't see those very often either. But it's a very effective one. All of our clients have implemented it. We work with them, they've implemented it. Well, there's no need for them to pay us out of their money if the law allows otherwise. We have another program called Operation Boot Lock. Probably won't use it here, I doubt. Might. It's every municipality has a right to boot or tow vehicles if they have more than a certain amount of unpaid clients. And most of our clients around the suburbs use it. And they've set the level of 3. So we have 3 unpaids hanging out there. And there's a notice that comes that says, here's your situation, and we'll take care of it in 21 days. We have the right to come in, tow or boot your vehicle to your pay. So that one is also a big piece of activity up in the suburbs. Wouldn't necessarily apply down here. And we manage that for the village. We identify those who are eligible, give them an eligibility list every day at 5 o'clock, put it out on the website, and their officers on the street can in-car right into it and look and see who's eligible when they make a stop. And as they make that stop, they can also then boot or tow, if they wish, that vehicle. We also assist about 5 or 6 villages with LPR, camper system database. There's more and more of those being used. And we will give them a file of just the people that owe them that have 3 or more onto a database that gets loaded into that system. So as an officer drives it down the road, it'll bump it against any plate it sees, it'll bump it against this database. If there's somebody that's eligible for a boot or tow. And the last one is the comptroller's IOC program. That's been a biggie this year. It's one of those other good things that Springfield did that helped municipalities who all needed revenue. And it essentially just allows every taxi body in the state, not just villages and cities, to put debts onto a database down at the comptroller's office. And as any check is cut by the state to a person or a business, it could be lottery winnings, it could be a state tax income tax return, it can be a check to a company for services performed. It can be a number of things. It's anything that involves a check being cut by the comptroller to some body. If that body also owes the city money, it stops the check. And it pulls out the amount of the debt. And a lot of what we're working on is parking tickets, and up in our area, parking tickets, if you don't pay them, don't go to the hearings, they'll end up $250. So you got a typical $250 issue that stops a check, and it stops it for 60 days. So you have a chance to appeal if you believe it's not correct, not you, there's something wrong with that scenario. And then at the end of 60 days, those funds are transferred right to a direct deposit at the village of city. That one's generated a lot of good revenue for older debt. And they allowed us to go back 7 years. I argued with them for about a month on that one. There's no reason to cut it at 7. If you know your debt is good, and municipal debt doesn't die, there's not a statute of limitation on it, why cut it at 7? We got stuff that's good for 18 years that we know went through an administrative adjudication hearing and about the debt. Why eliminate that from the tax? But I know they got concerned about a lot of other participants in the program that would have to justify a 15-year-old debt. That may be pretty hard to do.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
First of all, what is your name?
Oh, Roger Wood, I'm sorry.
Roger. Okay, Roger. Roger,
I-
you're sharing a lot of information with us, and unfortunately, it's kind of overwhelming, and 20 minutes from now, we're not gonna remember a lot of this. I wanna ask you a question,
I
okay?
will stop. It's your
Okay,
turn.
first of all, can you give us a percentage can you give us some percentages of what you've been able to collect for municipalities on a, you know, you're saying we've got 75,000 out there. What percentage can we expect you to collect?
And it depends on the type of debt. There's a difference between building code, local ordinance, ambulance, and parking, or a red light camera. They all have a little different.
Fee tickets are what we have most here.
Yeah, I can tell you, right now, the group of 38, we go somewhere between 15 and 62%.
That's a wide,
level.
that's a wide margin there.
Yeah, depending on-
15 and 62%.
Depending on the village and city. A lot of depends on demographics. Our best collection town right now is Aurora. No real good reason.
They're at
but it is.
62%.
62% return. So, and Elgin is probably at, 35 right now. We've only started their stuff, so we don't have a.
And right now, since we don't have the ordinance in place on our old stuff, what would be your percentage of the cost on?
Well, 35 is
35%
what
would be-
we take out of what's paid
Okay.
in payment, yes.
Until such time as we enact an ordinance that it will include your fee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's the other key part, is taking that step, and it's not I think the attorney can, maybe has looked at it already, that it doesn't even take an ordinance to adopt that add-on fee. Most of our clients done it with resolutions. You know, just public knowledge saying that starting today, we're going to add on fees for every debt that tops that's unpaid. You know, so it's not a difficult thing to do, and really, you don't take advantage of it, because otherwise 35% is going to come to me.
How do you spell your last name?
W-O-D.
Just like it sounds.
Yeah, just like it is.
Okay. Appreciate that, thank you. That's what I was looking for. I wanted the percentage, I want to know what we're paying for you.
Yeah, so an average number, if you're on an average number of 38, it's around 32%, somewhere in that range. We get close to a third of what we attempt to, pursue.
What's your average on smaller towns, say like Wilmington, with a population of 5,000 to 5,300?
It really isn't about the size. We've got a couple of small towns. We've got East Hazel Crest is 3,some hundred in size, but it's sitting right there on I-80 and close to Homewood and 1,600 people. Is it now? It's 1,600 people. And we this year on the IOC program alone, we brought in 160-some thousand. So it's.
They have a metro lot.
So, yes, they have a huge metro lot and a lot of activity.
Yeah.
Yes, that relates to parking.
Metro lot of commuters, which means
Yeah.
they're working, so you have reasons to pay. So I think on the average, most collection agencies are somewhere around 25%. I mean, don't look at the expectation higher than that. I think if we get about 25%
Not
of
that
that,
good.
you know.
The nationwide, it's 17.
Okay.
Nationwide, it's 17. across the board.
So you're looking at, if we have 75,000, you're looking at, that we might collect, if we pay is 35, we might collect around $10,000 or $12,000.
Sometimes the biggest number is a number you can't report on, is where people will end up paying at the adjudication hearing, knowing that if they don't, they're gonna end up possibly going to collection agencies.
Correct.
That's one of the
I think that's one of the
positives.
biggest benefits, is not so much that, is what people know that if I don't pay, somebody's gonna be coming to ask me that money down the road, and it could affect my credit report. A lot of people will make that payment initially, instead of waiting until it gets up to $750, and they, whenever I feel like it, I'll pay for it.
And there's a couple of municipalities now that posted, as soon as they walk in at the adjudication, they have a poster up saying, for non-payment, we will be taking into collection, and
Have you had any experience with that, Chief?
Yeah, the other thing is with fee escalation, these fees that are now $750 for us originally were $50 tickets. So if we get a percentage of the 750, we're still ahead of what the original plan was. We're still way ahead of
Going a
it.
big one, yes.
The other thing I would like to add too is I have been using the Illinois debt recovery system, but we're limited as to, we enter the names and addresses that we have based on our tickets. You guys are linked to other databases for phone numbers, and with the state, it's either a hit or it's a not hit. They keep it in the system, they keep trying for hits, but unless we update addresses, and your company will assist us in that process with updating information.
So if that person's got a citation and they live on Water Street, but then they moved over to Main Street, through what you're saying in debt recovery, it wouldn't come up as a hit because they have a different address.
Right, they look for the name and the address. And
Something that simple.
And the best thing about their contract, it's easy to terminate. Attorney Urban read it. If we want to terminate, we don't send any more collection notices. So if we get to a point to where we feel they've done the best they can, and we want to, try something different, we have the right to do that. So they don't have any ownership or rights to our debt, our bad debt, which is, I think.
Well, I know you guys have looked at other collection agencies, and what's different from these guys than the other collection agencies you've looked at?
Experience in the municipal field. They, and they're protecting, privacy rights of people that, like I say, if we get information and we start entering, say we enter bad data just because of a miskey and things like that, we could be held responsible for that. So they have experience, they have, enough communities that, continue to use it for many years. So just their municipal experience, I think that's their biggest selling point. And they know how the administrative adjudication works. So, re-educating another collection agency that's out there doing medical collections. Their main focus is municipalities. So they rough and tumble in the collection world of what we look for.
So it's the other ones you dealt with have probably been collection agencies that run a wide range of collections, not just municipal coverages. Was their rates comparable, or was a lot of those companies have a base fee regardless?
Most of them had a base fee based on how many thousands of dollars that we would enter into the system. But the base fee is very low. It was like $5, $10, and most of them were right in that range. They were collections between 30% and 40%. Whatever was collected, they would keep between 30% and 40%. So I think we're at a point where we're trying to figure a solution, and here's one.
Well, it continues to grow. I think, what was it, 6 months ago, it was 30,000, now it seems like it's 70,000 in 6 months. Chief, have you dealt with this type of collection before?
Yes, when I was free sales press, we used company, so the other agencies become very highly recommended. Again, just trying to get a collection agency that's not through municipal collections, it's not going to work. I mean, it's a whole different level, and a whole different learning curve for them to try and get on board, where this company comes with proven clients, proven collection experience.
And I think that's what we're really trying to get to is, get into the collection thing, but also minimize the time that yourself and Cam and Tony has to spend on educating a collection company. That sounds like with these guys that's not needed. It's just more of a pass on the information and then they take it over from there. So,
More of a turnkey operation, I think.
I think knowing the culture of municipal government too, and knowing that they're serving the taxpayers also. As Roger said, there's legitimate hardship cases that, are just hardship to a point. And they're aware of that, and all their customer service people are trained to identify that, so they would notify us of that type of client, saying, hey guys, we got this person, they're actually returning calls, they're on hardship. And possibly we wanted to try to sit down, we should sit down with them and try to work something out. Instead of continuing going collection. I think that's a benefit too, because, they come recommended as customer service related. So you don't have those complaints coming in that they're the hard nose, hey, on V, don't give me my money, 10 days, 2 days.
And one thing I
Easiest
didn't,
way to put it.
one thing I didn't tell you was that every call we make is recorded.
Yeah.
So we were able to listen to any call once it's occurred. And if we get a complaint, it's easy to determine whether we had anything to do with that problem or we didn't. We just had one today from Police Department, Muscatine, Iowa, where somebody called in, a resident, said that we were rude and called them names, cussed at them, oh, bunch of stuff. It went on and on and on. Well, we went and listened to the recording. None of that was in the recording. It's like a 30-second conversation. And he made the rest of that up. So, you know, it's good to have those. From our standpoint, we don't want complaints. But we want to be able to also know that we don't have them. They're not there.
So if somebody owes, let's say $100, and they don't pay this, and you guys go after them and say, hey, we have you do this. In 6 months, they don't want to go ahead and pay it. And then another 6 months. Does the bill just keep going up, or does he get arrested, or what? How does it actually work?
No.
Nobody gets arrested.
No.
These are all civil.
Civil.
These are all civil.
They will go up to a max of $750. What they're basically saying is a lot of these tickets that have come through adjudication have started at a $50 or $100 fine. And either A, which I think is probably 90% of them, they just don't show up. They don't even bother to come.
Right.
So they have an opportunity, they get a letter every time that adjudication hearing comes in. So if somebody gets a fee ticket, they get a letter stating the adjudication is set for this date, this time. They don't show up, they get another letter saying, you're fine, you can go up, you need to come to this one. So what it sounds like is the people, you know, you really don't look to go after collections until these guys start to max out.
Correct.
You know, we're not gonna send collection a $100 ticket on after collections. We're still gonna give that person that opportunity to pay that fine. But once it gets to $750, which is the max we can charge on adjudication, there's nowhere else to go but the collections. So, you know, there's a long process to get to that point. So what I think we've come out to is we've got a lot of people that have hit that max rate because they've absolutely refused to do anything with the ticket. Come to City Hall to discuss, say, hey, I got this ticket, I don't have the money, can you help me out if you set up a payment plan? I think it's just been places, basically, they just ignored the entire process.
Yep.
So I think that, you know, what we're trying to do is, we're not going, you know, if there's people that have problems, we'll work with them, and we probably have worked with them in the past at City Hall. We're looking at the people that have ignored the process, so to speak. Those are the ones we go out through. We got some that probably, I'm sure we probably got some with people driving through, whether it be, you know, truck drivers or whatever, just kind of ignored the whole process. And, but, you know, I think that's what we're trying to get at.
Yeah.
We're looking just for those people that have
No, I'm glad
maxed
you
out their
clarified it that way for
benefits.
me and the audience too, but, you know, I'm just thinking, you know, myself, you know, like a homeowner, say if he has a hard time making his water payment or something,
Right.
you know?
If they get that $50 ticket, they don't show up, we're not sending it to collection. It's a waste of time and a waste of money. We're waiting until that person missed several, till they got to that $750 fine. And then that's what I think that's the way to do it. That's when these guys get those notifications, and that's who that's when they go to work. And those people have ignored the process. Because it'll probably take 4 or 5, it probably takes a good 3 to 5 adjudication, you know, missing adjudications to get to that 750. It's not something that happens after one.
So you guys, come around the night, we can keep it on the agenda and go for a vote to enter into the agreement.
Well, I think what we should do is, I mean, it's good that he came here tonight. I know it's just real quick, we got an agenda. What I'd like to see is, now that everybody to take that opportunity to think about what was presented tonight, but also to tie it into that resolution, to where the fee structure, their fee is in addition to that. I think that's the direction we need to go in, to make it work. So instead of doing a two-step process, let's make it a one-step process.
Okay.
That way, you guys, I know these guys spent a lot of time talking with Roger, probably a week or two ago, and you guys can ask these guys, you know, the staff questions. If you guys still have questions, to kind of understand it.
So we are tabling this one from,
Under finance administration, we'll
Do a motion,
table
do a motion to table.
let's do a motion to table that, and we'll have the attorney work on the resolution in regards to the payment structure on top, the fee structure on top of the fund.
All right, let's move on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Should we move on there, Alderman?
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, the Tanner's plan. Planning and zoning, our next regular scheduled meeting is Thursday, October 2nd, 2014, at 6 o'clock p.m. And I think you have.
Yes, we do.
Yes, they do. Committee reports, building grounds, parks, health and safety, Alderman Persick, Alderman Van Dyne.
Mr. Mayor, the next scheduled meeting is Wednesday, October 15th, 2014, at 6 PM.
Water, sewer, streets, and alleys committee, Alderman Studer, Alderman Kerwin.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the proposal by Merrick for the Lang equipment at the water treatment plant, amount not to exceed $30,000.
A motion by Alderman Kerwin, do we got a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Persick, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
8 yes, motion passes.
Mr. Mayor, and the second one here, I move to approve the estimate by Holland Excavating Incorporated for the installation around the storage tanks at the water treatment plant with the amount not to exceed $7,200.
Motion by Alderman Kerwin, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Kirby Hall, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
8 yes, motion passes.
The next scheduled meeting is Wednesday, October 15th, 2014, at 5:30 PM.
Lisa Nesta, Alderman Studer, Alderman Tudor.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2014-04 has been tabled. Next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, October 14, 2014, at 5:30 PM.
Oh, we tabling that? That would move that forward.
Mine table.
This is to approve the resolution authorizing.
Mutual aid agreement.
Mutual aid agreement. Oh, I'm
This-
sorry.
wrong one.
Wrong one.
This is the-
Sorry. Okay. I'll take that back. I move to approve Resolution 2014-04, resolution authorizing the execution of a law enforcement mutual aid agreement and the existence of and formation of the Illinois Law Enforcement Alarm System and Intergovernmental Corporation.
Motion by Alderman Studer, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Tudor. And kind of as a refresher, what this is ILEAS. The chief had made that during the police committee meeting, which kind of helps in, kind of like the Mavis does with the fire department, the mutual aid in regard, as it relates to emergencies and stuff like that, correct, chief?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
8 yes, motion passes.
Okay, once again, next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, October 14, 2014, at 5:30 PM.
Finance Administration and Land Act, Alderman Studer, Alderman Tudor.
I have the first two, Mr. Mayor. I move to approve accounts payable report dated September 16, 2014, in the amount of $288,276.68, and the August 31st, 2014 collectors report in the amount of $331,806.
Motion by Alderman Studer, do we have a second?
I will second.
Second by Alderman Tudor, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
8 yes, motion passes.
Okay, the second one, I move to approve resolution number 2014-05, a resolution authorizing the demolition of the Widows Laundry Home after Tony does his due diligence on the abatement.
A motion by Alderman Studer, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Evans, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
No.
No. 7 yes, 1 no, motion passes.
Okay, I have the next ones. I move to approve the annual pledge in the amount of $2,500 for the Will County Center for Economic Development.
A motion by Alderman Tudor, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Van Dyne, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
8 yes, motion passes.
This one, make a motion to
Table it?
table. Yeah.
I make a motion to table the approval of the collection services agreement with Municipal Collections of America, Inc., MCOA, and the City of Wilmington.
I have a motion by Alderman Tudor to table the approval of the collection service agreement. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Kirby Hall. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Then it's been tabled till the next meeting. All right, next.
I move to approve the quote provided by Durazio Ford for the purchase of a new vehicle for the Wilmington Police Department in the amount of $32,478.
I have a motion by Alderman Tudor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Kerwin. Any discussion?
I'd just like to point out that this would be reimbursed by Ridgeport, correct?
Correct. For the annexation agreement.
Yes.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
8 yes, motion passes.
I move to approve the quote provided by National Salt Supply for the purchase of 400 tons of road salt for the City of Wilmington in the amount of $50,216.
And motion by Alderman Tudor. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Kirby Hall. Any discussion?
This will need two-thirds vote.
Correct. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
8 yes, motion passes.
A special meeting will be held on October 7th, 2014 at 6 p.m. The next regular scheduled meeting is Tuesday, October 21st at 6 p.m.
Ordinance and license, Alderman Kirby Hall, Alderman Evans.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, October 14th, 2014, at 6 o'clock p.m.
Personnel and collective bargaining, Alderman Hall, Alderman Persick.
Nothing at this time. We're going into executive too.
City Administrator report, Mr. Graff.
Kobe did attend a pre-construction conference meeting on 102 work, contract awarded to D Construction up in Schaumburg. No determination was made if they're going to start to work this fall. They should have a schedule in IDOT's hands next week to see if they're going to do it this fall. They were leaning a lot towards spring because of all the work that's already, he's got on the table, so. That's all I have, everything else is pretty well taken care of.
Attorney's report, Mr. Irvin.
Thank you. In the last couple of weeks, I've prepared or been involved in matters related to the widow's laundry home, prepared ordinances in regards to acquisition of property, and also prepared proposed amendment to liquor ordinance. And that's all I have. No, I haven't seen a contract yet. I think we
Third
have
Street
one, but,
sale.
Yeah.
The contract was dropped off to me.
okay. I haven't spoken to their attorney substantively about the agreement yet, so. But we should be getting title within the next day or so.
Need a motion to go into executive session?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to go in executive session at 7:48 for land acquisition.
A motion by Alderman Larry Hall, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Tudor. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall. Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
8 yes.
Need a motion to come out of executive session?
I make a motion to come out of executive session at 8:04.
A motion by Alderman Larry Hall, then second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Tudor, roll call vote.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
8 yes, motion passes.
You,
Mr. Mayor, I got two motions. I move to approve ordinance number 14-09-16-01, an ordinance authorizing execution of the purchase contract for parcels 17-23-401-006 and 17-25-115-004.
a motion by Alderman Larry Hall, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Kerwin. Discussion, just for people to know, what these parcels are is the Celotex properties.
These are the ones that were taken off the tax sale?
Yes, these ones we've taken off the tax sales. Many people know, two of them. We started working with the IEPA a couple of years ago in regards to doing the soil borings to determine leachate and all that stuff, and working with how that whole process and doing the meetings, and then we've come to the point where we're able to acquire this property with very little cost and also without indemnifying Celotex, which has always been a sticking point for several years. Celotex will not be indemnified in this process. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
8 yes, motion passes.
Thank you.
The next one, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 14-09-16-02, an ordinance authorizing execution of the donation and release agreement.
Have a motion by Alderman Larry Hall, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Tudor, any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Larry Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Tudor.
Yes.
Alderman Studer.
Yes.
Alderman Evans.
Yes.
Alderman Van Dyne.
Yes.
Alderman Kirby Hall.
Yes.
Alderman Kerwin.
Yes.
Alderman Persick.
Yes.
8 yes, motion passes.
Thank you. All right. Next regular city council meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October 7th, 2014, 7 o'clock p.m. Motion to adjourn. Second. Favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.